All right. Well, I couldn't stop her if I wanted to.
But just a little bit of background, because this book, for all of us, not, it's more for the grandkids, just to hear what, they've heard about it, but you really don't know. There's a beginning, of course, and what happened was Grandpa Hooey decided to start writing this book, and I got to hear him one night at a gathering, a few of us, and I listened to this man read a book, and I thought, my gosh, is that good? And so I went up and I asked him about it. I said, can you read a little bit more? And he said, well, sure. And I had this picture of him sitting in a chair, and a good friend actually been dating your Grandpa Hooey. And I was
But we
staying.
weren't going anywhere.
Yeah, and I was staying with Carol, and I said, wow, he really is a good writer. And that's how Grandpa Hooey and I met. I fell in love with his book first, long before him.
Long before me.
And I wrote him, and I said, you are an amazing writer, very spiritual. So that's my intro. So there you go.
All right. Thank you very much.
Good intro.
Now, I wanted to start with a 5-point guide to happiness. Okay? Number 1, love your family. Number 2, love your friends. Number 3, look for the good in yourself and your world. Number 4, always expect more of yourself than you do of others. Number 5, always say yes when asked for help from others. There's a guide to
Words to live by.
And so what I want to do is just read some snippets from the book, some of which you've heard, some of which you may not have. But this was at a time about 3 or 4 years after meeting Hark in the canyon, and I was going out to the desert to stay for the summer. And I said it had concerned me when I began thinking of going to the desert that I would not see Hark regularly, so I decided to talk with her about it. It took about 3 trips to the canyon for that conversation to take place. I'm never sure how much my mood, Hark's mood, the canyon's activity, time of day, or any of a myriad of other factors influences whether and how a conversation happens. Hark had once told me I spent too much time analyzing things. I can't imagine somebody saying that to me. Don't give up entirely on using your analytical skills. Just choose one to analyze and one to accept and move on. On this day, Hark was in a favorite western oak tree at the south end of the canyon. A pair of kites had nested. They're like falcons, kites. They're mini hawks in the middle of the canyon, and hassled any other hawks that came into their area, but they always seemed to let Hark pass through without incident. Hark, I'm thinking of going to the desert for several months. Sounds good, she said. I love the desert, all the rabbits, chipmunks, and lizards a hawk could want. But I'm concerned about not being able to see you. Well, why do you need to see me? Well, I've gotten to like you, and I'm moved by our conversations, and also, quite frankly, I'm writing about our relationship, and I'm concerned about completing it without regular contact with you. Well, she said, the book is complete. Our conversations are endless. Treat the area you are in with admiration. Show respect to everything living and love yourself, and then I will be with you. Needless to say, I was overwhelmed by this response. Hark had said so much in so few words, I wanted to be sure if I understood it all. I must have had a rush of 100 questions to ask. As if Hark understood, she spoke again. Just write it down and you'll understand. Your book is complete. It merely needs written. She makes it sound easy. It's all done. Just write it. It is within you already to do whatever you choose. With that said, Hark quietly lifted out of the tree and glided away. Never failed to amaze me how swiftly and effortlessly she moved. Come to think about it, Hark does the same thing conceptually. Perhaps there's a relationship at her level between thinking and doing. Now this, and one day I was crying questions about her and how she got to be the way she was and all this stuff. And she essentially she got a little fussy with me, and she said, you're asking the wrong questions to understand me. And I said, what do you mean? She says, you're just focusing on me. She said, I am a reflection of this canyon. The canyon is me. I am the canyon. Understand the canyon and you'll understand me. So she made it obvious. Study the canyon. Want to know about me? Study the canyon. So this is titled Life is Like a Canyon, Full of Webs and Beauty. Sitting in this canyon under a lovely grouping of moss-crusted western oaks late in the afternoon is very deceptive. I guess because the sun is at such a low angle, each 10-minute interval seems to reveal or conceal something new. Well, that were unseen minutes earlier, and now they sparkle their beauty by redirecting the sunbeams. If you sit very quietly, soon the constant chirping of birds and ground squirrels fades into an unheard background sound. Right beside my ear is a new noise. Well, not really new, it was there all along. But the strident jay calls and the sharp pick, pick, pick of ground critters camouflages the soft whisk, whisk, whisk that seems to come from nowhere. Well, wait, it must come from somewhere inches from my ear. But there's no insect or animal movement and nothing else nearby. We'll trace it carefully. What is near my ear? The oak trunk is near. Well, what is on the oak trunk that could make that soft whisk, whisk, whisk noise? Well, the moss cannot do it. The bark is too thick and solidly attached, and although the more you study the bark of a western oak, the more mottled, irregular, pockmarked, and subtly shaped it becomes. Truly, it's nature's Rorschach test. However, on close examination, it is the changing angle of the sun that has revealed something new. Well, not really new, since it's been there all along. But like webs, something unseen until just the right conditions reveal it. There are tiny sections of oak leaves and airborne chaparral seedlings attached to the bark. At first they seem glued to the surface, but as the breeze blows, so do they. Then the mystery of the whisk, whisk, whisk sound is revealed. These webs catch and filter the air, trapping small pieces of natural debris. One web has wind-swept seedlings gathered into a natural mitt. The mitt, in turn, has caught the stem of a 2-inch oak leaf. The oak leaf, thus trapped, has curled as it dried. The dry, pointed, serrated edges of a 2-inch leaf brush against the bark. Whisk, whisk, whisk. Mystery solved, delightfully. As the sun sets, its slanting rays reveal and conceal what wasn't there a minute ago. It makes me think of life in general. Warmth becomes coolness when rays become shade. Unseen webs appear and disappear without ever moving, very much like life. What we see and understand is so influenced by the slant of our mind, by the shading of our experience, by the rays and molding of our education and culture. It is no wonder there is no such thing as immaculate perception, no agreement between eyewitnesses to the same event. It should be no surprise when even two souls sharing a life together experience the same event or the same communication, but differently. What is really surprising is that any two souls, each with its own infinite experiences and multi-billion stimuli constantly bombarding us, ever see anything the same way. Only the miracle of love allows for friends and lovers to exist serenely. And this one I call Going to Church. I know it's a cliche to say that a beautiful wilderness area is like a cathedral, like going to church, but I couldn't help myself because I was in such awe. I felt like bowing in respect to the hundreds of towering Douglas firs that surrounded us. My wife had chosen to spend a few days camping in the rainforest of the eastern Olympic Mountains in the Olympic National Park. We were at an area named Staircase on the North Fork of the Skykomish River. As the crow flies, it wasn't far from Quinault River or Quinault Lake and Quinault Rainforest, all Indian reservation areas. At the western tip of the Olympic Mountains. In this church, there were pews everywhere. They just happened to be 5-foot to 25-foot diameter Douglas firs that had fallen over the millennium. A fallen tree of this size could take many hundreds of years to decompose, and so the pews sat there just waiting for someone to sit on them. Over that time, it provided food and shelter to many myriad of critters. For example, many bacteria munch and aid in the decomposition of the tree. What they do assists throngs of beetles, bugs, worms, larvae, and things of the insect world to carve away to get at the food. What they do softens the bark and trunk so that some ground-dwelling birds and many small animals can make a home inside the various cavities. Then on the top surface of the tree, algae and fungus are busy creating lichen. These movers and shakers are so thorough that they can chew through granite and reduce it to sand. Don't ever challenge fungus and algae and lichen. They'll win every time. Then to top it all, there's the carpet of moss that provides a softer cushion than any pew I've ever sat on in a bricks and mortar church. Then there are the pillars of the church, the living, standing, 100-foot tall Douglas firs. They can rightfully be called the elders since they reach ages of many hundreds of years. Some may even surpass 1,000 years of age while standing. That definitely qualifies as an elder. What a Douglas fir does best is reach for the heavens. They truly soar. They shoot up so straight that they confirm the mathematical truth that the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. For them, the 2 points they're trying to link is earth and sky. Standing at the base of one of these and trying to look up to the top is not only a challenge, it reminds you how puny you are and how mighty the tree is. Besides, it induces neck pain, vision acuity, distortion, vertigo, and did I say puniness? Also in the Cathedral of Beauty, there's a diversity of flora and fauna that boggles the mind. In a rainforest, even a relatively dry one like this rainforest in the Eastern Olympics, where they get a mere 200 to 300 inches of rain a year. Actually, they measure it in feet. 15 feet of rain is a dry year. 25 to 30 feet, that's a wet one. So on the floor of the cathedral, you get so many kinds of ferns and flowers, you really need to be an expert to say how many and what kinds. Flowers everywhere, of course, from centimeters high to many feet high. There are lots of grasses. You have to have something for the rabbits and the deers and the Roosevelt elk and many other critters to munch on. I can't imagine what the florist bill would be for such a display. The size and staff you'd need to care for such a display would, in perpetuity, require additional collections at each service. And oh my, the carpet. Have you ever been on a carpet so plush you just sort of sink into it? When you look down, the design is so intricate in the weaving that you would stop at any step and spend hours marveling at all the different objects that have interlaced so purely that it seems a master craftsman must have woven this carpet. That's what a needle-laden path with leaves. Moss, cones, stones, and untold numbers of forest objects can create as a magic carpet ride. If you walk into and out of a cathedral like this without being awe-inspired, someone should check your spiritual pulse to see if you're seeing and feeling accurately. And that's the end.
Very good.
So
Very good. This is your best audience.
yeah, they've already heard it all.
Definitely captive audience.
Now, the wisdom parts. This is going to be real short because I don't have that many minutes of wisdom. But what I'd rather do than pontificate and use it all up, the minutes of wisdom, what I'd rather is that you ask any questions and I'd like to try to respond. But no more than 10 or 15 minutes because I'll run out of wisdom by then. So anybody has a comment? suggestion, something they wanna say?
About your book or about,
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Or hard.
where are you at in the process?
It's finally coming into print now that I can talk my book to a computer and it prints out the pages for me. And then I edit it. And it's amazing what in the library, and this nice lady said, well, just type it out. Or, yeah, and I said, I don't type. She says, well, just put it on the computer. I don't compute. And she said, well, we've got a system here where I'll set it up for you, and anytime you come, bring your handwritten objects from the canyon and read it, and it'll be directed to the computer, and the computer will print out the pages for you. So I started getting printed pages by talking to a computer, and the computer gave me back written. So now I'm doing the editing for it. So it's coming along better and quicker than ever before. So I can't help but remember, because Hart said it so often, the book's complete. You just have to write it. I don't know how many times she told me that. I should have picked up on it the first time.
So do you know whether Hark is still in the canyon? When's the last you've seen her?
I don't, but when I was going out to the Anza-Borrego Desert for that summer I spent out there, and I was reluctant to go because I wouldn't be able to see her. She said, well, here, try this. If you're out there, just look around and see how much there is to love and how much beauty there is out there, and make sure you include yourself in what's good about being there. And she said, and if you can do that with all your heart, she says, I'll come be with you. So I tried it one day out there, and I felt like she was right there, and so we had a conversation out there. So I didn't have to see her fly in. I just knew she was there, and so we talked. So she was always there to support me and guide me and direct me. So
When you went out with Scott the other day, what did you see?
we saw two female red-tailed hawks, light phase, and one dark phase. Dark phase means that the back is dark colored and the bottom is dark colored. The other two were very light colored, so that's normal for there to be light phased red-tailed hawks and dark phased. So
Is that age?
Huh?
Is that based on age? Light
No,
phase and
no,
dark
it's
phase?
they say that way all their life. They're either light
Oh,
phased or dark
okay.
phased.
Oh. It's a,
So what have all the decades you've been in Harks Canyon, how has it changed? How is it, or how is it the same?
No, it changed when San Diego went through that the terrible drought period. Many years, like a lot of California did. It just started dying. The trees, they let their branches down and drop them off there to save energy, and it was just dying. And there wasn't enough water for the ants and the bugs and anything. And when there isn't ants for the little guys, there's not enough water for the big guys in there. And I think her food dried up on her, and she had to move on. You're smart. You go where there's food. You don't stay where there isn't food. And so
Right.
she must have taken off for several years and got it. So I always remembered that what she said. If I needed to have her with me, all I had to do is love myself and everything around me, and then she could be with her. And so if I really need her, why I can just kind of call on her.
You had a really cool metaphors like to the cathedral and the scope of how you view your life. Did you see that while you were in the canyon, or was that something that came to you more when you were writing this out?
When I was writing it out, yeah. Now that I was up in the state of Washington in the far northwest corner where the rainforest, the only rainforest in the lower United States is up in